Hey, Mr. Wonderful here, and I'm back with Teddy in his own store in Cleveland, Ohio. It's called Teddy's because there's Teddy, so Teddy on Teddy. But whenever I visit Teddy, wherever we are in the world, I always say, Teddy, look, I want you to show me some crazy pieces because I want eclectic, really crazy dials. Doesn't matter what the price is. This game is agnostic to price. Could be $500, could be 500,000. I don't care what the price is. I want crazy. And we've had a lot of fun with this, and I've asked Teddy to step up and do it again. Gets harder all the time, although watches are getting crazier, so there's always some crazy.
That's right.
So Teddy, here we are again on the crazy zone, which I love. Show me what you got.
So these are all right around under $5,000. Some of these are under $1,000, so we have a good mix and spread to show that you can get some crazy without spending crazy money.
Got it.
First watch here. So this is the cheapest watch on the table. This is Seiko again, which we've seen many times. So this watch is a metronome watch. I'm not kidding.
I've heard about this piece.
So you press the button down here and it goes from time setting mode to the metronome mode. And then what you can do is you can change how quickly the metronome will speed up.
Now this is a quartz watch.
This is a quartz watch.
Yeah.
But look at, I can adjust.
Just so you can wear it, people say, what is it doing?
Yeah. And imagine that you could turn off the, you could turn off the sound, but if you want to drive people mad, you just go for it. It's $200 for that little watch.
Yeah.
And it tells a story, right?
No, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. For $200, why not? What a great gift, right?
Mm-hmm. It also has an ability to tune instruments, so there's a pitch corrector in there as well, so you can use that.
It's a great piece of electronic watch. It reminds me a little bit of people having fun with quartz movements because you can program them now to do stuff like this. That's very cool.
$200 for that watch. And
available anywhere from Seiko, right?
Yeah, well, so that's actually a JDM model. So you have to go overseas to get that, which is kind of a cool little
Are you selling it at Teddy?
No.
Really?
No, it's just a nice little JDM piece that you can get for $200. You have different dial colors. Music lover in your life, it's an easy gift and doesn't cost a lot of money.
Good idea.
So there you go. $200, you get that. Moving along, so we're bouncing around a little bit when it comes to price.
Right.
This was a watch. Now there are brands that have a reputation, but then they can change it immediately with just one release. This is the case for this watch. This is known as the Christopher Ward Bel Canto. Titanium case, but why this watch is special is because it has a chiming feature. So it's a sonnerie au passage, which basically means that every top of the hour, what it does, you can turn it on or off, is it will chime.
One of the lowest priced watches that has that feature.
Exactly, and that's why people went nuts. They added 60 additional components to this module, and you can see, you have your hammer, you have the gong.
Because it's steel, you actually get a nice, is it steel?
No, it's titanium.
Titanium, so did you get a nice tone with titanium?
Here, give it a shot. So here we can pull out the crown.
That's been the challenge with a lot of these.
It's once an hour, so it's quick. So you can just rotate that crown there, just rotate it until you get the chime. So you'll see your time here, get to the top, get to 12. Boom.
Nice.
There's a 6-month wait list, I believe, on these right now.
I mean, that's fantastic because there's nothing at that price that can do this.
No,
I mean,
it's an anomaly.
Also titanium, very, very light.
It's a grade 5 titanium too.
Yeah, and different colors?
Different colors. So that one is a newer dial color. They originally launched with more traditional blue.
I like it. It's a very attractive face, but great price.
It's a UK brand, and I've heard and I've seen that Roger Smith is a fan of the brand, and he actually owns one, that's high praise. I mean, that's high praise, right?
Really?
Yes.
Is it true though?
He posted on his Instagram that he has one.
Well, he's supporting the Brits.
But yeah, he is, of course.
Being one from the islands.
That's right, but still, he wouldn't do that for just anybody, even if he is talking about national.
No, I know. He would never endorse unless he really felt the makers were something special. And they are in this case. Good for them. So really entry level for some very unique complications.
Yeah, so that is more expensive than the previous piece, but it's all relative to what is being presented. And for that complication, pretty cool.
What's next?
Next up, so this is a German brand. So this is from that same region of Glashütte, which we've
Where all
talked
the
about.
watchmakers in Germany come from?
Yes, exactly.
It's
so
in the water, obviously.
So this is Müller Glashütte. This is a brand, unlike many other brands, the name of the owner, their last name is still Müller. So they're independent, still family owned, multiple generations, producing in Glashütte. This is known as their SAR rescue timer. So they were approached. Originally, their history came from marine chronometers.
Very attractive.
And they wanted to create a watch for search and rescue missions, for the search and rescue teams in Germany. This watch is crazy. It's 1,000 meters of water resistance. The crystal... Screw down crown. The crystal for the sapphire is 4 millimeters thick alone, but you can't see it. You see how it's flat?
Perfect.
So they hide it, and then also you see the Cyclops there?
Yeah.
Cyclops is hidden underneath. You know how Rolex does it. It's usually that bubbled little effect.
So they did a reverse of it.
They put it underneath, so it doesn't add and it won't ship when they're on board ships.
Right.
So because they don't want it to crack.
So they're hiding it with this rubber bezel, right?
And that's weird too. I mean, a rubber bezel? I mean,
Yeah.
but that's also so it doesn't have any of these glancing blows when you're on these decks.
Right.
And
Beautiful. It's actually quite an attractive watch. Price point?
So it's $2,500.
You gotta be kidding.
It's pretty cool. And it has a hooded lug design. You have also the rubber there. And let me show you this.
Beautiful.
It's a full lume dial. So what they do is instead is they have superluminova as a base for the dial, and then they'll cover it with the indices and the markers. So
It's just very, very good.
there's nothing else like it, right?
Yeah, nothing. I've never seen like this whole rubber bezel thing's kind of nuts.
It's weird. It's
Beautiful.
weird.
Very, very attractive. Clean. Nice.
So
Okay.
now we move into something really crazy. So 1962, this brand Rado comes out with a watch called the Diastar. So this was
Which is a well-known event. I mean, that design is well-known.
This in places like India, Pakistan, this is the coming of age watch. When you make it, you get a Rado Diastar. But this is what they love. I mean, this is a part of their culture. A few things I'll call attention to. What made this watch such an impactful piece when it was released in 1962 was its scratch resistance. It had high resistance on this kind of shroud on the outside, but it also had a sapphire crystal, which in those days was pretty rare.
Right.
This is going back to that original design. No, it's
I've always thought this design was the Jetsons. It's a 60s kind of fashion statement that's come back, retro, some people call it vintage, reissued, obviously.
It's under $1,600. And another thing I'll call attention to. So look at it from the side with the crystal, but look at it from like this angle. Do you see anything with that crystal?
Yeah.
They're stepping the crystal. So the sapphire is cut. Also, one other thing I'll call attention to. You see how reflective and shiny this is?
How does this age, though?
So that's the great part about it. So Rado is known for their use of ceramics. So this is known as ceramos, which is the material here. So it's a creation made by them, but the hardness of this is around 1,700 Vickers. For context, stainless steel untreated, 150 to 200. So you're talking 10x the hardness. You could go at that with stainless steel all day.
And yet it looks polished like steel.
And you won't scratch.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing about it.
It is automatic.
Yep. 80-hour power reserve,
Well,
$1,600 just underneath
A
that.
very, very interesting piece for that price.
And you look at that from across the room, because we always, I know you mentioned you're a dial guy, but I also think about case silhouette.
No, I think the case is fantastic. It's really the Jetsons. It's the 1960s Jetsons. Love it. That's one of my favorites so far.
Okay, all right. Well, we have more to see. Next, we go back to a brand. This is Tissot.
Yeah.
So Tissot, they have...
Know the brand very well.
Yes. So this is a newer creation in the last year. It's known as their Citadel. So you have regatta timer functionality on these watches. I don't do much yacht racing myself, so I don't know much about that. But forged carbon case. So take a look at that. It's got very playful colors. You see like this 1960s, 70s
And these bands are
inspiration.
probably swappable.
They are. What they were doing is they spent so much time. One of the hardest parts about this watch, other than the case, and, creating that case, because you can very rarely see this case material at this price point because it's around $1,000.
Yeah.
But this, they spent so much time, trial and error. If you want to just put that on your wrist, just feel like how comfortable that rubber strap is.
It does have a unique feel to it. It doesn't have the same kind of rigidity the traditional rubber band has.
And you slide it through. So you slide it through there. Yep.
Yeah.
And then you just simply pull it through, and then you just find any one of those holes. So it's very easy to adjust the different sizes, and you just pop it in one of those holes, and then you have it. It's pretty comfortable. But he gave it to every single one of the people on the design staff to wear it around.
And they did?
Yes, and they tried to trial and error to figure out what was the most comfortable, and this is what they came out with.
And they can swap to, how many colors did they come out with?
So they all come with a custom strap. So this one obviously blue, red, and there's another yellow that we don't have
Well,
on
they're
the
matching
table here.
it to some elements on the dial.
Exactly,
Too, right? But
exactly.
you can swap.
Yes. The red there is probably the most understated when it comes to the central dial. You can kind of see compared to
Well,
like the
red,
blue.
I mean, they're wise to make a red band. I mean,
Oh, yeah, well, hey, they know. They know.
The blue's also nice, but swappability is great. Can you buy them in sets? I mean, how does it work?
So you typically just buy the one, simple unit with its configuration with the strap, but if you did want to get an additional strap, you can get that too.
So, in the last 5 years, all of a sudden for men's fashion, for years, watchmakers never cared about the colors of the bands. And they, in many cases, and certainly Rolex to protect, refused to allow you to change the bands. It's all changing. It's all changing. You even think the high-end collectible independents like Ajourn, they're making multiple colors available because of demand. People pay a fortune for a watch and they say, well, I want to change the color of the band. I want to try something else in the summer versus the winter. And now they're doing it. I think it's very smart. These are fantastic.
Right around $1,000 too.
Yeah, that's good. Love them both. Very interesting. Very interesting. What's next?
So another zany watch. So this is getting into closer to that $1,300 to $1,500 price point. This is a brand called Mito. So Mito, Swiss.
You're kidding.
Swiss.
Okay.
So you look at this and you're like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on that dial.
So there's a few things going on here. One is this is their Ocean Star GMT, but what they've done is on the outside, so with the use of that additional hand for 24 hours, you can have some world time functionality. So you can rotate this bezel, align it up with the right time zone so you have a view.
It's great to be able to do it. Practically no one does. But
yes. I mean, if you're doing business, hey, I'm talking to the man who has 2 different watches on reserve.
Yeah,
so maybe you should be a world timer guy. I don't know. Might have to talk you into it.
I have plenty of world timers, but I love having 2 watches.
I know you do. I know you do. And then this is a decompression scale, so not really useful nowadays.
No,
but this is for
it gives
divers.
a very interesting look. Let's have a closer
Yes.
look here.
So how that would work is you would take in nitrogen when you're
This
underneath
this
water.
is like a dartboard. It's nuts.
Yeah. So that would just time your decompression because if you come out from these submerged environments too
Screw
quickly,
down crown.
screw down crown. Yes.
World timer. There's so much going on here.
Yep.
Wow.
Legibility, I'll say it's maybe not its strong suit.
No, it's not.
But-
never mind about telling the time because you
Alright.
won't be able to. It doesn't matter. But that's really quite something. Mito.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And it's also what we'll call that a flyer GMT or a true GMT. So in the first
Well, that's
position.
beyond GMT. That's crazy. It's a
Yes,
dial.
but when you take out the crown position, I mean, this is what a lot of people, when you think about Rolex or Tudor, why they like those watches is at the first position, you can move
Yeah.
the
And they've
local hour hand.
copied that. I love that about Rolex. They've done a great job. It really
So-
lets you adjust immediately.
And getting this for under $1,500.
It's fantastic. And now the FP Journe Ripoff Edition.
Oh, please. All right, so this is Louis Erard. So Louis Erard is a name that goes back a long time, but they've now relaunched and really have done some cool things with more of these artisanal practices in Swiss watchmaking.
Yeah.
Here is what they have, one of their stone dials. So
Oh, it's a stone dial?
it's a stone dial.
What's the price?
This is a lapis dial, so this is in your $3,000 to $4,000 range.
Yeah,
so
it has to
$4,000
be.
range.
It's very hard to do this, to cut the stone.
Yes.
And the amount of breakage is a huge problem.
So you're getting a regulator. So a regulator, what that is known for is having the hours be smaller on the subdial.
Right.
Then you have the minutes as the central hand solely. Then you have your seconds down here. So it splits it up. Very
I
cool.
like this a lot. It reminds me of the... Oh, wait a second.
The dial is very
Yeah,
nice, right?
what's going on with
So
these
that's-
gold flecks in here?
So that's a lapis dial.
Yeah, that's real. That's
Pretty-
very interesting. Gives it a depth, just beautiful.
In addition, for a regulator, it's typically something you don't
So
see.
4,000 or 5,000. This
You're
thing?
in that range, yeah.
Beautiful. That's very, very interesting. Okay, that's up there on the charts here.
Okay.
You know, in terms of what's cool about this collection. All right.
And I'm going to have you pick your top 3 at the end. We've
Yeah, I
got
will.
Two
and
more.
I'm gonna have a hard time.
So this is a watch that came out at Watches and Wonders last year. And
I remember this piece getting quite a bit of press.
yes, it
I
was,
think a lot because of this crazy green.
yes, and there's a little other crazy secret about this. So this is their Pro Pilot X, but this is what they call the Kermit edition. Partially because of the green, but also if you take a look at that date wheel.
Yeah.
At the top of every month, what you're able to do, and when it comes to the first of the month, and this is, nobody asked for this, nobody asked for a cartoon frog, but we got a cartoon frog. So Kermit the Frog appears on the dial at the first
Did
of
they
every
think
month.
they had to license that?
They did. Apparently it was a nightmare, as you
You know,
know.
this
like,
thing, even Rolex has gone into this now with the emoji watch.
you have some fun.
The puzzle, you know, it's just, it is fun, and this is a crazy color.
And I was talking to the CEO, I'm like, why do you
But
put,
you've been backing Oris for a while, though. You like it.
they're really cool brand.
Titanium?
Titanium case, exactly. It's a caliber 403, 5-day power reserve for that movement.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, you're going to get some comments on this. Screw down?
Screw down crown. So caliber 400, 5-day power reserve, screw down crown, 100 meters of water
It's
resistance.
nice. It's really nice. It's a unique look. There's no question about it.
And one other thing, because this comes from Pilot Inspiration, take a look at the clasp. Take a look at the clasp.
Ooh,
Look at that. What does that remind you of?
that's crazy.
It's like a seatbelt.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
It's like when you're going on an airline.
So they've kind of done an airline knockoff
yeah.
thing, right?
Isn't that cool? So you just lift it up, and that's your clasp. So you just lift
really
that
something.
up. Yep. Boom.
Beautiful.
And you get Kermit.
Very light piece, too.
Yeah, titanium is great wear.
Very easy to wear.
You talk about starting a conversation, you see that green.
No,
and
I
then
definitely, I think you're going to grab some eyes with that. I mean, it may be a little, it's sporty-ish, and I'm thinking tuxedo with the green's pretty funky chick.
That would be a funky chicken if you wore that with a tux.
Yeah, I like it though. Very nice, very interesting. One last on the hit parade.
So if you could let me just explain a little bit about this, because this is an insane
I've seen
watch.
this piece. I saw it last year at Watch Time in New York, and it was smoking hot.
So this comes from a brand first. Now it's a totally different brand. So this is known as the Mad 1, but this comes from Max Busser. Max Busser formerly was at Harry Winston Watch Division, blew it up, and then he was crazy to start his own brand, known as MB&F.
Yeah.
MB&F starting price is around $60,000. They're known for their horological machines, legacy machines, but one thing he was mentioning to me is what hurts him the most is the fact that he wants to create just these absurd creations that are part of his creativity, but he doesn't make watches for the people that are closest to him, that he loves. And what he did originally first was design a watch for his friends and family, and people that were their early
Did
patrons.
he include that in his vision?
So what he did was he first came out with the first Mad 1 edition. This was a private release. It was not made public.
This is the Mad 1?
This is the Mad 1, but the first one, he didn't have any intention to go public. He only gave it to his customers, some of the people that supported him along the way. It was just
What was the price at that time?
well, there was no price. It was a gift.
Right, okay.
But he just made it.
Right.
But then, as you know, people found out that he made it. And then people that followed him are like, wait, I've been following you. I can't afford any of your watches. And now you've made something that I could potentially afford and I can't have it. What is going on? So
well, that was the buzz at Watch Time.
yes.
It was a big buzz.
So what he did after that was he finally made available the Mad 1 to the public. He had a lottery system.
That's what this one is?
That is what this one is. Now, there's
Okay.
been a couple different
how
color
many did he
iterations. I don't know the exact number. It was a couple thousand, I believe, though, in that range. And it was all lottery. So you had to submit, and it was all chance to be able to get one. Now, these trade above retail, so if we're going to get into price, it can get a little bit weird. But they started right under $3,000, right around
Now what are they
$3,000.
trading for?
In the 5 to 8 range, depending
Okay,
on what
so he
model.
had good appreciation.
Good
Why
appreciation.
not? He created something unique.
So this watch follows the form of some of their horological machines. And I'll show you how it works. Now, one, you're looking at this and like, what is going on here? So they're taking a Miyota caliber. So it's an industrialized product. And why he chose a Miyota caliber is what he wanted was this rotor to spin. So it's a unidirectional rotor.
Right.
So it'll spin like a battle axe just very quickly. It's tungsten, so it rotates, and also titanium. So it has the weight for the tungsten to rotate freely. And you're probably asking, okay, that's really cool. How the hell do I tell the time?
You don't.
Well, so when you wear this on your wrist, here, I'm gonna put this on your wrist here, if you would like. You put this on. Go ahead. Look like this into the watch, like straight down. You see this indication, that little white?
Yeah.
You have two aluminum discs that rotate. One is for the hours, one is for the minutes.
Yeah.
So that top is your hours, the low is the minutes.
That's interesting.
So they'll spin and rotate. And that's
So
how you
this
tell
is
the
more
time.
of the, the excitement, the optical excitement, but you can also tell the time by just
You
looking.
can't tell the time. Because, I mean, look at that on your wrist. It's insanity.
And is this also powering the watch?
That is powering the watch. So that rotor is powering the watch, and then he modified it to a crazy degree. There's no hands. There are these aluminum discs on the outside.
It's very interesting.
Right? I mean, it matches too today.
Now, rumor has it he's going into another series like this, right?
So he did a green one just previously. It was a few months ago that he did that, and there was a lottery system as well. Those I'm quite sure have sold all the way through. But this was the red version that came out, which has been sold. It's been out for a few years now.
Very cool. I think I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I haven't met him yet. I'm sure I will at Watch Time again.
Max Busser is one of the most impressive people I think I've ever met in the industry. He's a phenomenal man.
And under 5,000?
I mean, starting price is right around 3,000 Swiss francs.
Fantastic. Well, let's get down to what are the top three. That's very, very interesting. There's no question about it. I'm going to tell you right out of the gate. You have to pick the ones. I'm not going to say which is number one, but right out of the gate, for sure, this is one of the three.
Rado Diastar.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just a spectacular piece. And, I just love that. I just love the look of that.
This is tough. I'm looking at this now,
Yeah,
thinking
no,
for
it's
you.
very, very tough. It's very, very tough. I mean, funky chicken, I'm going to go there.
You're going Kermit?
Yeah, I'm going
Okay,
Kermit.
you're
And that's
Kermit.
pretty interesting. And now it gets hard.
It's a tough field.
Yeah, it is. But I have to tell you, I think what they've done with this dial is really fantastic. So there they are.
The mule. Okay, so we have a Mula,
Yeah,
we have the Oris,
yeah.
and then we have the Rado Diastar.
And number one, right here.
Rado Diastar wins out.
It wins out.
Why is that?
Because it is so retro, yet striking, yet modernized, yet a unique dial. And case. In this watch, this presentation, the case is the dial.
It's an extension, right?
It's
it
an
all,
extension.
It all
And
forms
that's
together.
kind of rare. That's kind of rare, and that's kind of unique. But you're really talking retro when you walk around with this, and people know it for what it is. I mean, but it's been modernized. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful, and at a great price. I mean, it kind of gets me into the zone of what's going on now. You think of what happened with the crash, the Cartier crash.
Sure.
Which is now one of the most expensive vintage watches in the world. It's an eclectic design that you can't miss. This qualifies for that.
You can see it from across the room, and you can see that case silhouette. It's that.
Certain cases become their own brand. And that's what happened with this. And the fact that it's gone into the Indian culture makes total sense to me. But again, Teddy, you've done a fantastic job here. And this, of course, this is beautiful too. I mean, this is an acquired taste. There's no question, but you're really saying something about dial. You're going to get a lot of conversations with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely will.
I think he's done a great job. I'll have to meet him at watch time, talk to him about this, see what I can do, because it's interesting. There's nothing like this in my collection. This is probably going to make its way into my collection.
When the Diastar, okay, all right, interesting. I mean, it is cool. I mean, that on TV, I can imagine just popping like crazy.
I think it'll be great. It's going to be challenging to put a red band on it for TV.
Because you do have the hooded lug design. I mean, you could probably squeeze something in there. We
Yeah.
could, you could see what you can do, but it'll be a little
I
tough.
can't wear it unless it's got a red band, but it would look good. You're picking up the logo in the red, so it's very nice. Fantastic, Ted. You did a great job.
Just when I thought I figured it out, Kevin, you surprised me some picks.
Well, you got to keep everything different and changing, but this is fantastic. We should always do this segment every once in a while because there's more and more crazy watches coming. Thank you.
Pleasure as
That was
always.
great. Spectacular.